I've always been really interested in this question of what does it mean to play by ear? I think oftentimes when people say it, they mean something that isn't quite up to snuff. You're not just going to play that by ear, are you? If you just rely on your ear here, you'll never play the right changes. You've got to use theory, you've got to use your big brain and figure out what you're going to do here. If you just play by ear, you see what I'm saying with this. And I kind of think that's how people think about it sometimes. Play by ear means some lesser way of playing that you have to rely on because you don't really know what you're doing. It's kind of an interesting idea to me. So I think it's worth trying to ask this question, what does it really even mean to play by ear? Let's think about this for a minute. If we play a chord and then we stop, let's try that again. The sound of that chord stays in our ear even after it stops. And I bet right now you can remember what that chord I played sounded like, right? It was a D major chord. And once you know the name of it, D major, oh sure, we can move our hands there and replicate that, play some kind of D major, play a D major scale. But the moment we say D and we think about D, we're not really using our ear anymore, are we? But if we play that sound, now all that is D also, but I'm kind of just going by ear based on what I heard from this D chord. So this is an interesting thing. How do we know what we know? All of these questions. And most importantly, what does this mean for a jazz improviser? Let's think about what it might mean to play over a chord progression by ear. Today I'm thinking about the tune How High the Moon, which I think is a pretty standard unit of jazz. It's a jazz standard that if you play jazz or have for any length of time, you've probably dealt with. And I think it's seen as a pretty normal tune. What would it mean to play over this chord progression by ear? Playing by ear isn't necessarily easier, and it's not something that we do just because we don't understand theory or whatever. Playing by ear, I think, lets you get at this thing which is very important, which is the idea that you can essentially sing your solo. And let's think about that idea for a minute. I have this core belief about jazz improvisation that all soloing is singing. Let's think about how you would be thinking if you had to sing your solo. It starts here in your mind. You think of an idea and then it comes out of your mouth with your voice. You sing it. When you're singing rather than playing an instrument, I think it really forces you to only play what you play, to only sing what you hear. You are forced to sing things that you can hear, things that you understand, and maybe even things that you believe in. And I think that gives your solo a kind of power, a kind of clarity that it can lose sometimes if you're playing a solo based on theory, thinking about letters and numbers, moving your hand to the right spot on the neck where you know that the chord is. I really don't play like that. I'm sure there are times in my life that I have, but my earliest memories of jazz improvisation when I was 13 or 14, were just listening to a chord progression and trying to play notes that sounded good to me. So yeah, How High the Moon is a whole chord progression. And then the work becomes, how do I get this chord progression into my ear? Well, I think a lot of it is by listening to it, paying attention to it, and learning to remember what it sounds like, and being able to hold that in your head. Again, I don't think this is the easy way, and I don't think playing by ear is something for people who don't know theory, as though the moment you knew theory somehow it relieves you of the obligation of having to hear anything because you have a better way to do it. I don't think you have a better way to do it. If all soloing is singing, then even when you play your instrument, you're still singing. You're using the same thought process as if you were singing your solo, except you're playing it. And I understand there's every opportunity for the instrument to get in the way of that process. If you're a guitar player, you know the guitar kind of calls out to you, hey, put your finger here. Hey, is that a G chord? Let's move to the 3rd fret here and see what we've got. Let's go where we feel comfortable with G major and move around in that G major scale, and then we'll be right. I'm very familiar with what it feels like to live your life based on fear. I do it all the time. But I don't want to let fear run my solo. And I think that's kind of what we're doing when we fall back on those things. You know, How High the Moon starts out with G major going to G minor. Do we really need to look at the fretboard in order to navigate that? We don't have to. What we should do, I think, is get those sounds in our head. Learn to hear G major going to G minor. Can we really hear that and understand that? That's interesting. And then when we have those sounds in our ear, then we can play almost as though we're listening to somebody play. It's really something, and soloing becomes very simple when you look at it this way. Simple does not mean easy, but it is simple. You're trying to hear the chords go by in your mind and then play notes that sound good along with those chords. Now, even if you had the best ear in the world, there's still work for a jazz improviser to do here. You still have to learn how to put lines together. You have to learn vocabulary. But that's not necessarily what I'm talking about today. That's certainly part of the puzzle if you're trying to play jazz. But we're talking about playing by ear, which I think by and large has to do with harmony and playing changes. This is one of the things that I think people think is so difficult about playing jazz, and they might be right. But to play by ear, we're simply trying to call up these sounds to hold the sound of the whole chord progression in our head and then kind of listen to that and solo as we go. An exercise that I like, and if you've been following my channel for a while, you've seen me do this before, is this idea of singing the root motion of a chord progression. And I think today we're going to try a little of that with How High the Moon, and then we're also maybe going to sing some triads over the progression as well. Because I think that's symptomatic of a deeper understanding of the progression. If you spend enough time with it, listen to it, learn to hear it, then that's something you can do. Let's try a little of that with How High the Moon right now. So I certainly don't have perfect pitch, so I'm getting my G to start off. That's the first note of the first chord. All right, here's the roots. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. La, 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 la. So that's just the roots of the chords. Let's try singing triads now. It's the same basic idea. We're just interacting with the chords using our ear, but singing the triads gives us a little different experience. When there's a whole measure of a chord, we're gonna sing the triad, quarter, quarter, half note. And when there's 2 chords in a bar, we'll just sing each root once. A little slower because it's more notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. La la la, 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 la la, la la la, la la, la la la, la la, la 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 la, 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 la la, la la la, la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. I can do that because, wow, I've probably played through that chord progression thousands of times in my life, but that's the work, I think. People sometimes will ask me, how do you approach a chord progression like that? What do you do? Honestly, what I do is I use that understanding of the progression that I have that lets me do what I just did there, and I'm holding the progression in my mind, kind of listening to it as I play, and then I'm playing stuff that sounds good with it. I'm singing a solo. I'm not using devices. I'm not watching a chord progression. I'm not watching a chord approach and saying, when I get here, I'm going to start on the third. I don't use letters or numbers when I solo. I don't think about that stuff. I try to just have the sound of the chord in my ear and then sing, although I'm singing through the guitar. I'm trying to use the same way of thinking, And here's the thing, I think anybody can do that. Now, there are people that can do it better than I can, who have better ears than I have. And I'm sure there are people with worse ears than I have, All of us are where we are with our ear and with ear training, but all of us can get better at it. I don't get to make the rules for anybody, and I wouldn't want to, but all I can do is advocate for this approach that works for me, and I think this kind of thing is how people play good solos, musical sounding solos, and how you can be more expressive and ultimately more human, by playing things using your musical self and your ear rather than theory. Playing a solo over How High the Moon might be a meaningful thing. So again, I'm doing this just the same way that I sang the roots or sang the triads. I'm thinking about the sound of the chord progression as though I had a rhythm section with me, but I don't. Just like when we played that chord earlier and then we could remember the sound of it, I remember the sound of this chord progression, and that's going to let me solo more or less by ear. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I hope these ideas are interesting and useful. Of course, when you're starting to learn to hear chord progressions and get them into your ear, it makes sense to start with the simpler end of things. Maybe a 12-bar blues progression, tunes like Autumn Leaves, How High the Moon, Softly as a Morning Sunrise, or any tune that you're working on that's on the easier end of the spectrum, I think can be great. But you can really get it all done like this. All soloing is just singing, or at least it can be. Your ear is the most powerful tool that you've got, and I think we should use it all the time and not much else when we're actually playing a solo. I expect that people are going to have some opinions about this topic, so please leave a comment if you like. I welcome it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, know what you're thinking, and please do like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.